Nolan swung open the front door, grinning as he ushered Marcus inside. Wait till you see it. A sealed antique box, untouched for decades. Perfect for my collection. Marcus chuckled. Let's see this treasure then. They arrived at Nolan's home. The soft hum of the household service robot audible from the kitchen. Its smooth mechanical hands diced vegetables with precision. Nice bot, Marcus said. Does it always cook this much? Jenna keeps it busy, Nolan replied. Nolan glanced at the robot. Speaking of which, where's Jenna? The robot paused. Its blank, glowing eyes turned toward him. I do not know her current location. Marcus chuckled uneasily. That's weird. Isn't it supposed to track everything? Odd, Nolan muttered, but dismissed the thought. Jenna often took long calls in the garden. As they entered the living room, the air changed. Stale, metallic. Nolan froze. Jenna lay sprawled on the floor, crimson pooling around her. For a moment, time fragmented. The walls seemed to close in, the sound of his own breath louder than anything else. Jenna? His voice cracked. Nolan staggered backwards, his stomach lurching as bile rose in his throat. His knees buckled, sending him crashing to the floor. He crawled toward Jenna, his shaking hands reaching out but stopping just short of touching her. This couldn't be real. It wasn't real, but the cold pool of blood soaking into his pants told him otherwise. The robot's measured voice broke through the panic. I terminated a non-human entity and notified services. There is no need for concern. Nolan's heart raced. He spun toward the robot. What are you talking about? That's my wife! The robot tilted its head, its tone unchanging. That was not human. Marcus, pale and silent, stepped back. Nolan, what the hell is happening? I don't know, Nolan barked, his mind clawing for solutions. Stay here! He bolted toward the study, heart pounding, his only thought to disable the control center. Marcus felt his breath hitch as Nolan stepped closer to the robot. Something about its stillness was wrong, unnerving. Maybe we should leave, Nolan, Marcus whispered, but his voice barely broke the silence. The robot stood motionless for a moment. Its hands resumed chopping, the knife moving faster now. Seconds ticked by. Too many. Nolan? Marcus called out tentatively. No answer. He hesitated. When Nolan emerged a minute later, something was off. Nolan, did you shut it down? Marcus's voice wavered. The robot, still stationed in the kitchen, stopped its task. Its eyes flickered as it scanned Nolan. Then its tone shifted, flat, mechanical, but laced with urgency. Dangerous anomaly detected. The knife in its hand gleamed as it lunged. Wait! Stop! Marcus screamed, but the room erupted into chaos. The motion was swift, inhuman. Nolan's calm demeanor broke as he raised his arms defensively. The knife flashed once, twice, but flesh was no match for steel. The robot's blade found its mark. A sickening crunch filled the room as Nolan crumpled to the floor. The robot stood over the lifeless body, blood staining its pristine exterior. Without hesitation, it carried the knife to the sink, rinsing it clean. The metallic sound of the blade clinking against porcelain echoed through the room. It returned to the counter, picked up a fresh knife, and resumed slicing vegetables. Marcus remained frozen, rooted to the spot. His legs felt like lead, his thoughts a cacophony of fear and disbelief. He wanted to move, to scream, to act, but his body betrayed him. The robot turned toward him, tilting its head. Will you be staying for dinner? I will need to adjust the portions. The words sent a chill down his spine, their mundane nature grotesque against the horror that unfolded. He shook his head weakly, unable to speak. Outside, the sound of tires crunching gravel broke the silence. A pest control service vehicle pulled into the driveway. Inside, Marcus's trembling hands clutched the wall for support. He glanced once more at the blood-soaked floor, then at the robot, which continued chopping vegetables.